Hey everyone, this is Spider-Fan 101 coming to you today back in my room. And I'm going to be talking about the Reboot 1-hour pilot for DC Superhero Girls. Now, for those of you who don't know what it is, allow me to explain it to you. So, DC Superhero Girls was originally, it was a property before this, and it was on Cartoon Network. But they did this whole thing, and I did originally like it, more like as an anthology type thing, because they would do crossovers between a bunch of characters. Like they do the Teen Titans. I know in the later seasons of the original they had Raven on there. And the original team was Batgirl, Supergirl, Wonder Woman, Bumblebee, Zatanna. Actually, was it? No, it was Katana. Harley Quinn, and I think there was someone else. I might be blanking on it, but that was basically the whole team. And they would basically go to the school where all the DC superheroes were at, where they were going. Well, not all of them, but most of them that were teens. And, they did this weird thing where everything they would do after a certain point was Lego. And I'm not talking about, the awesome Lego, from, the Lego movie, the Lego movies. No. I'm talking about, the Legos that, their arms, bend around and they could bend their that type of Lego. Yeah. It was not good. So, obviously, they did a reboot. Now, if you guys wondering where the reboot came from, let me once again explain it to you. So, if you saw this little gem in theaters, you would know that before they played the movie, they had a short at the beginning of it called The Late Batsby. There we go. And it was about Batgirl trying to sneak out of a house in the middle of the night so she can get to this battle that they're having. And why can't I talk tonight? But they're getting to this so that she can get to this battle with the rest of the team, with Mr. Freeze and all that. So that's basically what the gist of it was, her trying to get there. And that short was really good, and before, when you see that animation on the big screen, at first I didn't know what it was. I was like, this is a short about Batgirl? Oh, okay. You didn't really know until once it ended and they showed the logo. You didn't really know that it was DC Superhero Girls, because the animation, there's a vast difference between the animation and the feel of it. So, yeah, that was there. And it was really good too. So, I imagine that the response to it was so good that they decided that, let's turn it into a TV show. So they put on the 1-hour pilot tonight, and I watched it live, and this was one of the best pilots I've seen from Cartoon Network in a long time. Not just Cartoon Network, but DC. I haven't seen, a truly great, I'm talking about, in terms of, storytelling and all that. I'm not talking about comedy, because we're talking about DC comedy, then Teen Titans Go is, on the top of the list. But, when it comes to, actual storytelling, with, serious moments and character building and all that, I haven't seen an animated DC show in recent times that has been this great since the original Teen Titans. And I'm being for real. It was that good, because this pilot surprised me in a lot of ways, and I'll get into it. So, number one, the characters. The characters, like, we already know who the characters are. Like, a large majority of them, we already know who they are. Wonder Woman, we already know who she is. Supergirl, if you watch the CW, then you know who she is. Batgirl, you should know who she is. Zatanna is a little bit obscure in the DC universe, but if you've, had your fill of, like, if you had your fill of, like, those type of comics, then you should know who Zatanna is. Green Lantern, yeah. But it's not Hal Jordan this time. It's a new character. It's a much recent character that's been in the recent comics. And, I haven't read the recent Green Lantern comics, but, I know who that character is. So, she's in there. And the only one that is unfamiliar, or would be considered as unfamiliar, would be Bumblebee. Because I haven't seen her in any comics. I haven't seen her in any of the animated films. I've seen her once. I've seen her like a couple times in like the old Teen Titans show. But, my memory's blanking. So that character, like, if you don't know who that is, then, you're not the only one. But, the characters are a lot. Like, they are very fleshed out. And it's something that I was really proud that this show did. Because, like, when I was watching it, it reminded me of one of my favorite movies of all time. And it's on my list, Power Rangers 2017. It reminded me so much of that movie because it took so much time to develop the characters. Not to focus on, unnecessary action scenes or comedy that doesn't work or any of that. No, they actually took time to flesh out the characters, to flesh out where they come from, to flesh out what their personalities are, to flesh out like how we can all relate to them. Like, I especially related to Green Lantern in this. And I feel like she was like a great character because like she was the one that surprised me the most in terms of how she went about things. But everyone else was good too. Diana, she's the leader of the team this time around, and she's just like, I'm Wonder Woman, I'm Amazonian, what's up? Like kind of how she was like in Wonder Woman, just like I'm Amazonian, yeah. But yeah, although she does get fleshed out in the end because we get to see like the hardships between her and her mother and all that, which is always good to see. Batgirl, she's one that has trouble fitting in and everything, but she's just trying to find a team, and obviously she finds a team because of all that. But how she went about finding the team was really, really, like, it really surprised me. Like, Batgirl in this series is smart. Because before, how would you, if you saw Teen Titans Go to movies in theaters and you saw that short for the first time, like, you could interpret, like, how, like, you would think Batgirl as a character would be from that. Because I thought, like, it was just goofy. But when I saw her in this, I'm like, wow, she's, like, for real a strategist. And that's what I like. Like, Green Lantern, she's, like, a lot more, like, held back. She's not really sure of herself. She's a pacifist. She doesn't want to fight anybody. Which was really, really interesting because she's a hero. She's a Green Lantern. She was proven worthy because she has the ring. And, we even get a cameo from Hal Jordan in this, and he says, like, like, she multiple times tries to give the ring back to him because she's like, I don't want this. This is not for me. And then Hal says, like, nope, they chose you, so you gotta have it. And it's really interesting, the reluctant hero. I really like that. I think that was, like, the standout arc for me. Supergirl surprised me too. Because, if you've seen the CW shows, which, trust me, trust me, I've seen it. Well, if you know Supergirl from the show, she is absolutely nothing. She is absolutely nothing like in this, like she is in that show. Like, she is like this, like, rebel type. I wouldn't say, like, I don't think bully would be, because that's how she comes off at first. And, you know, throughout the episode, we get more of her backstory and all that, because, you know, every time she uses her powers, you know, she can't go without getting in trouble. And, you know, that's always interesting as well. And Bumblebee, you know, she's also the reluctant hero. She doesn't fit in at all. She's socially awkward. She, like, runs away from a lot of things, especially, like, in this pilot. Like, multiple times where they're fighting and she, like, runs away from the situation. But what's interesting is, you know, she said that she wants to fight, but, you know, she's, like, scared, like, reluctant to face it. And that's really interesting to me. And that's why I say the character development in this is unlike anything, any DC show that I've seen on Cartoon Network since the original Teen Titans. And I feel like that's really good. And that's a great step up. The action was really good. And it wasn't like throwing it all in your face. As a matter of fact, there was like a lot less action than I thought there was going to be. Yes, there is the training sequence and everything where they're like in the junkyard and they're training and all that. But besides that, that's really it. Sorry, I got a runny nose. The villain, I'm not going to spoil who the villain is here, just in case someone who is watching this has not seen the pilot. But the villain was actually surprising, and it's not who I thought it was going to be. Because the person in this, like, seeing from their background, you would be like, yeah, this person is automatically a villain. But no, turned out to be another character. And it took me for a loop. I was like, wow. And their plan, too, was pretty interesting as well. So I really liked that. The songs, because there are songs in this, you know, they pulled a Marvel Rising on us. The songs were pretty good. They weren't, like, shoved in your face. I feel like they blended in pretty well. And, you know, it didn't distract from what was happening on screen. So I think that was good. Overall, when the film reminds me of Power Rangers 2017 mixed with Big Hero 6, because what I really liked about this too is that they don't just automatically win. Like, they lose like a couple of battles in this. It's not till the end where they actually pull through and win. Like, I was really surprised at that. I was like, wow. Like, that's how you know you have a good show on your hands. When they pull stuff like that. That's how you know. My runny nose today. Anyway, this pilot was very, very, very good. And if this is an indicator on how the rest of the show is going to be moving forward, then you're going to have me, like I am with Big Hero 6, tuning in every day it comes on. So yeah, out of 10, I'm going to give this pilot, I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10. It was really good. And if it reminded me of anything like DC Cartoon Network related, it reminded me of Teen Titans, the original 2003 series, and this movie. Not just because of the fact that the short played before it in the theater. Not just that, but, you know, because the storytelling is really good. But, yeah. Let me know in the comments down below. Did you watch this pilot? And if so, what did you think about it? Did you like this one? this one perhaps more than the original, or do you hate this one, and you want the original one back? Let me know in the comments down below. And I'm Spider Fan 101 saying peace.